All right. Everyone get ready because we're diving deep into something huge. Okay.
Huge is right.
We're talking SNL. 50 years. Can you believe it?
5 decades. That's wild.
I know, right? And so we got this article here all about the upcoming concert and everything.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
Big is an understatement. But I think is really interesting. It's not just a celebration.
Oh, no.
It's about SNL's impact on music, on music history.
Really makes you think about the show's staying power, right?
Huh.
How do they do it?
I don't know. 5 decades. To stay relevant that long, you got to adapt, reinvent yourself.
Got to be ahead of the curve. Always.
Absolutely. So, all right, let's get into it. Concert basics first, okay?
Okay.
Friday night, Radio City Music Hall, and it's all going down, live streamed on Peacock.
Not just any venue, though. Radio City, come on. That place is legendary.
Oh, yeah. They've had some major events there. So it's adding another level to all of this.
Oh, absolutely. All those legendary performers. And now SNL. History in the making.
Yeah. Okay, ready for this lineup.
Hit me.
Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, Bad Bunny. The range is incredible.
That's SNL for you. They always bring the unexpected.
And wait, it gets better. Paul Schaefer, Andy the Roots.
Ooh, interesting choices. It's old school meets new school, right?
Right. What do you make of that?
I think it's a brilliant way to show how SNL has influenced different generations of musicians.
Yeah, you got the artists that helped make SNL what it is musically, and then you got these newer artists, right?
Exactly. Those pushing the boundaries today. It's like a musical family reunion, but cooler.
Love that. Okay, but hold on, because this one's interesting. St. Vincent's on the list.
No way.
Yeah, and if you don't know, she's got this really experimental rock sound, not your typical SNL fare.
Totally. Makes you wonder what they're planning, right?
Right. I'm so curious.
Is this a sign that maybe, just maybe, more experimental artists are hitting the mainstream?
Ooh, good point.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
And that's what SNL does. They make you think.
And listen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, this list just goes on and on. Arcade Fire, Backstreet Boys, Bonnie Raitt, Brandi Carlile, Chris Martin from Coldplay.
Wow.
David Byrne. It's like a who's who of music.
And I bet they got even more surprises up their sleeve.
Oh, for sure. But let's not forget, it's SNL. It's not just music, right?
They're so right. It's that comedy, that iconic SNL humor that we all love.
Okay, so get this. They've got Anna Gasteyer, Andy Samberg, Maya Rudolph, Paul Schaefer again, Tracy Morgan, Will Ferrell.
They're bringing out the big guns.
I know.
Can't wait to see how they tie the comedy into those musical performances.
Me too. It's going to be epic. And, while we're on the topic of SNL and music, there's this documentary I think everyone should check out.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Ladies and Gentlemen, 50 Years of SNL Music, produced by Questlove, from the roots.
Questlove. I love that guy. He knows his music, that's for sure.
Exactly. And the things he says in this documentary are really interesting.
Like what?
He talks about how watching SNL, way back in the day, gave him this whole musical vocabulary that he wouldn't have had otherwise.
You know what? That doesn't surprise me. That's how influential this show is.
Yeah.
It's not just a show. It's like what's the word?
A phenomenon.
Yeah, a phenomenon. It's had this huge impact on music, on culture even, and on artists themselves.
It really is a cultural touchstone.
And I'm sure this weekend's going to be a wild ride.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, Sunday night, don't forget, SNL 50, the anniversary special, live from Studio 8H.
Oh, man, those live shows are where the magic happens,
Oh, I know. Live TV, anything can happen.
Exactly. It's that energy, that chance for things to go gloriously off script.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for some truly unforgettable moments.
Me too. So we got the concert, the live special, and that documentary. What a weekend this is going to be.
And what I think is going to be super interesting is, how they honor the past, right?
Right.
But also how they kind of give us a peek into what the future holds for SNL.
Ooh, good point. Because their impact, it's not just about the performances. Right?
No, it's way deeper than that. It's about launching careers, changing trends, and even the way music is marketed and consumed.
That's a lot of influence for one show.
It is. But you know what? I think to really understand that influence, we got to take it back, way back to the beginning of SNL.
Okay, let's do it. Take us back in time.
It all started, back in the 70s.
Oh, yeah, the wild early days.
Exactly. It was all about, raw energy pushing boundaries.
Yeah, I've heard stories about those early years. It was just crazy, both comedy and music-wise.
Oh, totally. And one performance that always comes up is the band Fear.
Fear.
Yeah. On Halloween night, 1981, they pretty much brought a mosh pit to Studio 8H.
Oh, seriously.
Slam dancing, stage diving, the whole thing. It was chaos.
Oh, I bet. I bet people were freaking out.
It was a a bit of a culture clash, you could say.
Yeah, understatement of the year. But it kind of solidified SNL's reputation, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're not afraid to like take risks and show the unexpected.
So from the get-go, they were making a statement.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't all punk rock, right? What else were they doing back then?
Oh, they had a pretty diverse lineup. Disco, for instance, with the Bee Gees, Donna Summer.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had like the new wave scene coming up.
Talking Heads, Blondie, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Bringing their sound to the stage.
It was a reflection of what was happening in music at the time, I guess.
Totally.
Yeah.
And, it was a way for them to expose audiences to stuff they maybe wouldn't hear otherwise.
So that's so cool. So like they were these tastemakers, right, from the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. Always breaking down those genre barriers, expanding musical horizons.
Love it. Okay, let's jump ahead to the 90s. What was happening with SNL's music then?
The 90s were really interesting.
Right.
You had alternative rock and hip-hop blowing up.
And SNL was right there with them.
Capturing that shift perfectly.
Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Dr. Dre, Snoop.
Icons, all of them.
Yeah. It was like a whole new energy on the show.
Such a departure from the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, they were showcasing what was connecting with like a younger generation.
And in doing so, they helped bring those genres into the mainstream,
Totally. So again, not just reflecting trends, but amplifying them.
Giving them a bigger stage.
Exactly. But it wasn't just like those two genres, right?
Pop was huge too.
Oh, yeah. Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, all that.
Yeah. Bringing their own kind of spectacle to SNL.
It's like SNL was a chameleon, kind of adapting to whatever was happening in music.
But always keeping their own identity.
Exactly. So we've talked a lot about like the history and impact of SNL.
Yeah.
What about your personal favorites? What are some of the performances that really stick with you?
Oh, man. That's a tough one. So many to choose from.
I know, right? But gotta pick some.
Okay, one that I always go back to is Prince in 2014.
Oh, yeah. That was epic.
It was like pure musical genius.
8 minutes, all his hits.
Yeah. And the energy was just electric.
Yeah.
His musicianship, his presence on stage, unforgettable.
And wasn't it like totally spontaneous?
Yeah. He wasn't even scheduled.
He just shows up and blows everyone away.
It was like pure SNL magic, you
Yeah.
know? The kind of stuff you just can't plan.
I love that. Okay, what else? What else comes to mind?
Okay, another one is Radiohead, 2000.
Oh, yeah. Paranoid Android.
Yes. That haunting sound,
So different.
They brought their unique vibe to SNL, and it was just captivating.
So different from everything else that was happening in music then, too.
Exactly. And that's what I love about SNL. They take those risks and showcase those artists that push boundaries.
Totally. And that's exactly what we've been talking about. We've gone over the history, the impact, even some personal favorites.
A lot of ground covered, yeah.
But you know what we haven't really touched on yet?
What's that?
The influence of SNL on music, but like beyond the show itself. You mentioned it earlier.
Oh, right. Yeah, SNL's influence, it goes way beyond just those Saturday night shows. It's impacted the whole music industry, really.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, think about it. Getting your song on SNL, that's become like a major marketing strategy.
Like a seal of approval, right?
Exactly. For artists, record labels, it can boost sales, get you exposure, the whole 9 yards.
So they're not just like mirroring the industry, they're actually shaping it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The artists they choose, the songs they feature, it all has real-world consequences.
Oh, that's crazy. But that influence has to have like changed over time, right? I mean, the music industry is so different now compared to 50 years ago.
You're right. The way we listen to music, buy music, it's all different. And SNL has had to adapt to stay, relevant.
It's true. Think about it. Back in the day, it was all about that live performance.
Exactly.
But now it's streaming, social media, all that.
An SNL performance can go viral instantly.
Reach a global audience.
It's crazy, right?
So they've become even more powerful in a way.
In many ways, yeah. And their reach is just massive. It's interesting to think about what that means for the future,
Okay, so we've talked about the historical impact, the cultural influence, even like the marketing stuff.
You've covered a lot, yeah.
But what about like the social and political side of SNL's music? Have they ever used music to make a statement,
Oh, absolutely. SNL has never been afraid to tackle controversial topics through music.
I mean, it's a comedy show, but they've never been afraid to, use their platform.
Right, for sure. Like, remember Kendrick Lamar back in 2015?
Right, oh yeah.
That performance with the vandalized American flag backdrop.
Powerful.
So powerful. And it really got people talking about, racial injustice, police brutality.
Heavy stuff.
Definitely. And how can we forget Sinead O'Connor? 1992.
Oh, yeah. Tearing up that picture of the Pope.
During war, Bob Marley's song.
Shocking. I mean, really shocking.
Huge controversy.
Huge.
But it also showed, like, how SNL can be this platform.
Protest.
For dissent, yeah. O'Connor was making a statement against, child abuse in the Catholic Church.
Right.
And her actions, they sparked a global conversation.
It's like they have this ability to capture the mood, the anxieties, the aspirations.
Totally, like a cultural barometer.
Or a mirror reflecting everything.
Exactly. And it's not always these like big, grand gestures. Sometimes it's the subtle things, the little musical cues, parodies, even collaborations that can make a statement.
Like those digital shorts with Justin Timberlake and Andy Samberg.
Oh, those were classic. So fun.
They perfectly captured like how absurd pop culture can be.
But also how music makes us laugh, makes us think.
And they went viral. Everyone was talking about them.
Part of the culture.
It's amazing, really, how SNL has stayed, relevant for so long.
It really is. It's all about creativity, adapting, and the music, of course.
The music. I mean, when we talk about their legacy, we're talking about more than just performances, right?
There's so much more.
It's the impact, the conversations, the memories.
Exactly. It's about shaping tastes, influencing how people see things, and sometimes even challenging the status quo.
Wow. That's a lot to take in.
It is. They've created this like vibrant, diverse musical ecosystem.
All those sounds, styles, viewpoints.
A tapestry, constantly evolving.
Pushing boundaries.
Always keeping us guessing.
And speaking of guessing, I cannot wait to see what they do for this 50th anniversary thing.
Oh, I'm with you on that. I can't wait to see how they bring it all together, honoring the past and, hinting at the future.
That question you asked earlier, I think it's worth thinking about again.
Oh, you mean?
Yeah, like what makes their musical legacy so enduring? Is it about discovering new talent, reflecting what's happening in culture, those iconic moments?
It's got to be all of those things.
And then some.
Yeah, it's this like magic formula that just works.
Innovation, audacity, heart. Nobody else does it quite like SNL.
And that's what makes it special.
Yeah.
So as you watch all the anniversary stuff this weekend, as you keep exploring SNL's music, think about that.
Think about what makes it unique.
What gives it that staying power?
Oh, wow. That's a great point to end on.
It has been quite a journey through their music.
It really has. And until next time, everyone, keep listening, keep exploring, and keep celebrating music.